All right.
Welcome guys back to Rotten and the Freeman Show, man. How are you doing, Mr. Rotten?
I'm doing very, very, very well. It's October, my favorite time of the year, the most wonderful time of year.
It is, dude. I come as the big pumpkin, pumpkin Charlie Brown.
Yeah, I like it though, man. It looks
yeah, man. So it's been good, man. Yeah, it is Halloween time. The crisp coolness is in the air. I'm in North Carolina. You're in Texas. How's it in Texas? Is it below 100 yet?
Dude, I'm wearing a beanie. It is. It's right at 66 degrees, so it's not quite beanie weather yet, not quite hoodie weather yet. Like I got the dog hair all over me, but it is. It's close enough for me to comfortably wear this stuff right now. 2 o'clock rolls around, I got to shed all this stuff and walk around in the nude. But right now, it's kind of chilly. Feels
right.
good.
I was DJing yesterday. It was outside. It was for autism and Down syndrome kids. I try to volunteer and do gigs every year, but it's the Shine Bright Foundation. And I had to set up. I had to wake up at 4 a.m. I got there at like 6 a.m. It was still dark, and I was set up before the sun come up. And it was cold yesterday morning. So whenever I first started, man, on the turntables, my knuckles were a little cold. But by the end of the day, man, it was like roasting hot.
Is all your knobs and dials and switches and stuff nice and cold when you touch them?
Yeah, they were. They were really cold.
Were they?
Cool. Freeman Mommy was keeping me filled with the Java, the hot Java. Yeah. The cups were flowing, Bang energy and all that, man. I was trying to drink a Bang, man, but it was cool. It was cold on my knuckles.
yeah. Well, dude, you've done a lot of stuff. We've actually both done a lot of stuff since the last time we spoke. And there's all kinds of stuff in the news that's going on, and so we can kind of take a crack at anything. But I want to talk about your trip to New York and how you felt going to see Ground Zero and going up to the tall buildings and eating hot dogs. And tell me about your trip to New York.
Yeah, dude. So the last 2 weeks has been nuts for me. I've done some pretty nice DJ gigs. I got some coming up this week also, but the whole month of October, the end of September, October, November is almost like I've been on tour, man, because we went to a music festival a couple of weeks ago called Breakaway Music Festival at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
And me and Freeman Mommy and Chloe and Lyndon, my son, his DJ name is Skibo, but we all went to this DJ festival, and Marshmallow and all these big people were there, but the ultimate DJ for my son was there, a guy named Knock 2, Knock, and then the number 2. Him and this other DJ, ISOXO, do a lot of big things together. But I pulled some strings and got us on stage for that entire show. So we were back there with ISOXO behind his mixing board and stuff. Yeah. And I was posting tons of pictures. On my social media, I'm always posting stuff. It's at Freeman Daddy 5. Freeman Daddy and then the number 5, Freeman Daddy 5.
It's down there in your screen too.
Yeah, down there. That's my Instagram, so be sure to follow that. But I found ourselves on stage with Knock 2. My son got to meet him. All these crazy DJs that we always see on TV and hear on the radio. We were hanging out with and having bottles of water with them. And then the week after that, we went to take my son to see his ultimate favorite DJ ever, which is called Tokyo Machine. And we went up to DC for that. And when we got up there, I pulled some strings and talked to Tokyo Machine. He's playing a big venue up in Washington, D.C. and we got an invite to be on his guest list and got to meet Tokyo Machine and hang out with him. And thousands of people here to see this guy. And we got on his guest list, man. It was the craziest thing ever. Just the honor of that. And then my son got his first tattoo, which was a Tokyo Machine tattoo, kind of the logo.
Right.
So Tokyo Machine wanted pictures with my son to get with his tattoo and stuff. And we done the DC thing, and then we come back, and then I DJ'd Oktoberfest, which is this local thing that we do here. Everybody knows Oktoberfest, but it was a lot of fun. A lot of Germans saying Prost, Prost. I guess I pronounced it right. Is that right? Is it Prost? Prost?
In Texas, I don't know. I'm gonna say Prost.
Yeah. But it was Oktoberfest was a lot of fun. But then we had a trip planned to New York City last weekend. We went up for 4 or 5 days to New York City. I'd never been, and we were staying in Times Square, this hotel called the W.
Okay.
And dude, we had the most ultimate time ever. And a lot of crazy things happened when I was up in New York. Not to mention, we trying New York pizza, the dirty dogs, hot dogs on the streets.
Yep.
And just all the New York stuff. But I gotta say, if you follow my Instagram, we done almost everything possible to do in New York City in those 4 days. I mean, I bet we walked 50 miles, man. But we done the NBC studios, Radio City Music Hall, seeing all the sights. I got pictures holding the balls of the Raging Bull on Wall Street and all that stuff. We walked the Brooklyn Bridge. We walked the Manhattan Bridge. We went to Ground Zero.
Wow. How was that? Was that wild?
It was neat. I want to get into that. But we had a lot of run-in with some celebrities. I actually got to hang out with the Roots band from Jimmy Fallon. Whenever, and all this is just mishap stuff. I happened to look over and I was like, the Roots are over there. So it was kind of a photo op moment. We got to meet and hang out with the cast of Saturday Night Live after the taping of last Saturday's show. Stevie Nicks and Ariana Grande was on there.
Yeah.
We were on the Today Show, and then there was this supermodel that her name is Cara Delevingne something. Okay. But everybody knows this girl. She was in town for the Victoria's Secret stuff, and they were opening a new Burberry store. But we were in NBC Studios, and we saw her in there. And the craziest thing happened was when she come out, I was going to try to get a photo with her, and she's like, sorry, guys, I got to go. And I understand that. And after we got back from New York, people sent me all these videos from the television show TMZ. Have you ever watched TMZ, Rod?
I have, yeah.
Well, there's this video clip, and it's about this supermodel that got denied access to Saturday Night Live. And me and my family are in the video on the TMZ television show. So that was crazy. And then, we were going out to eat one night in K-Town, Korea, the whole Korea land or Koreatown in New York City. We were wanting some Korean barbecue we cook at your table and all. And I told my wife, I said, that's Weird Al Yankovic right beside us. And she's like, no, that's not Weird Al.
Dude, so, how does this stuff happen to you?
Yeah, so we walked to the next stoplight, and she's like, that's not Weird Al Yankovic. So I tapped this gentleman on the arm. I said, sir, can I ask a question? Are you Weird Al? And he said, and he leaned over and he whispered and he said, sir, I am Weird Al. And I said, would you mind just one quick pic, man? I'm such a huge fan. He said, dude, I would absolutely love to take a picture with you and your family. So we chit-chatted with Weird Al there for a bit. He was lining up. He was getting ready to play Madison Square Gardens next year, so he was there for meetings.
Yeah.
Madison Square Gardens. And I'm sitting here on the sidewalk talking to Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah.
And then we went
crazy.
We went to see the taping of the Today Show, which you have to get there early, like 6 in the morning. And on our last day, we were like, you know what? Me and Freeman Mommy, the kids that wasn't waking up, they wasn't having it. So we got up, got some good grains and good coffee flowing and stuff from the street vendors, and we walked over to NBC Studios and watched them film the Today Show. So I was kind of front row right there where it was, so I made it on the Today Show probably 30 times. But there was a segment to where they were testing this new wing sauce.
Okay.
And they were sitting there and they were eating it live on TV, and it's like, oh man, this sauce is awesome. Well, they turned around to me and Freeman Mommy, and they're like, who wants to try it? And have me and Freeman Mommy eating the chicken on the Today Show. And the Today Show, not all the hosts are out there, but like Al Roker's on there, Carson Daly, all these huge people, Hoda and all them people is affiliated with the Today Show. But
they were all there.
They wasn't out there with us, but you could see through the window and see some of the hosts on the inside.
Right.
But we were at the outside part, and we were in the breezeway. Like, I think Coldplay had played there the week before. And, that's where all the bands play. And, it was right there near where the ice skating is at Rockefeller Center.
Right.
But our touch with celebrities was nuts, dude. And like I said, once we got back, we were on freaking TMZ, man. We watch TMZ all the time. And somebody's like, hey, man, I think this is your family on television show TMZ.
Yeah.
And it's all the people standing around talking about all these celebrities and stuff. And they go to this clip, and I posted the clip on my Instagram. So be sure to follow my Instagram or my Facebook. My Facebook is Shawn Freeman, SHAWN Freeman, and I'm wearing a blue Zombie Cast shirt. Send me an invite there. But we get back, and it's still like, I don't know how to do it, dude, but I always find myself
time and place,
the right time and place, and I don't know how to explain it, man. But meeting like most of the cast Saturday Night Live.
What a joy! Yeah,
what a joy. The Roots, it's crazy, man. I was mind blown.
It blew your mind out. Yeah, I saw some of the pictures, but other ones you're gonna have to send me so I can put up on the show. I think that it is time and place, but how much research do you do to find out who's going to be where?
Dude, it was all spur of the moment stuff. We were in NBC Studios. My kids were looking for a Saturday Night Live shirt. Yeah. And I look over, and half the Roots is over there, and with nobody standing around them. And I told my kids, I was like, "It's the Roots over there," and they're like, "Oh yeah, we see them." I'm like, Jimmy Fallon, the Roots, Jay-Z Unplugged, the Roots. Right. There's the Roots.
And you went over and got some photos?
Yeah, I got some photos, man, and such gentlemen, such. But I've learned if you go to New York City and you hang out at NBC Studios, dude, all the celebrities that go in, like Jimmy Fallon, if Tom Cruise is on there that night, he's got to come out sometime. So being able to see stuff is pretty amazing.
Oh, you just gave away their secret. They're going to hate you for that.
But like we missed Ariana Grande coming out, and we were at the wrong door for Stevie Nicks. Mm-hmm. But the whole cast of Saturday Night Live come out, and it's like, who wants pictures? We're here. We'll sign stuff. We'll take pictures until everybody gets theirs done. And it was like 15 of us standing out there, but it was like them mingling, like you're at the after party. They had just come from the after party, so this was like 2 a.m. Yeah. Saturday Night Live's over at 1. They go to the after party. And when they come out and all the limos and the Ubers and all that's showing up for the celebrities,
right?
Everybody was just hanging out, man. It was
how exciting!
It was very crazy, and to have my kids with me doing this was even more nuts to see some of the things that we saw. They done everything with us except for the Today Show, but the Today Show, man, I remember growing up, being at my grandparents' house at summer and watching like Good Morning America and the Today Show. Uh-huh. So it was like, I don't know, man. It was just refreshing.
So you highly recommend going to New York for vacation?
Yes, I highly recommend. For one, we were expecting all these crazy prices, and I could eat there cheaper than I eat in my hometown here in Greensboro, North Carolina. I mean, you step out on the streets, and the pizza that everybody talks about. Yeah. I mean, you can go to pricey places. That's every city. But on every corner is the street pizza that people talk about.
Ninja Turtle pizza.
Everywhere is 99 cents a slice. And you're talking about a slice the size of this book. I mean, like New York style pizza is thin crust and it's a massive piece. So what we would do was we would stop at this pizza joint or this guy on the corner. We'd buy one slice of pizza and everybody share that slice. And then the next corner, I mean, $1 a slice. You can't beat it. Right. Bottled water was about $2 to $4. Okay. I paid that at festivals here in town. A hot dog was $5. Right. You could get chicken kebabs with all kinds of stuff on it for $10. But we went out one night in Little Italy, where all the mafia lives, and the Sopranos. They were in New Jersey, but then you had the New York stuff, family and all that on the Sopranos. But we were in Little Italy, and we wanted some good, fine Italian food. Mm-hmm. So we picked the nicest place that we saw in Little Italy. Went in there and ate rotten. There were 6 of us. Me, Freeman Mommy, my 3 kids, and Ashton's girlfriend, McKinley. And when we sat down, like whenever we eat here in town, we could go eat Japanese, right? And for 6 of us to have a beer and the kids get soft drinks, stuff like that, it's $350 easy, $375 to go eat Japanese here in town. So we went to Little Italy. I'd put back for it. We probably took $6,000-$7,000 of money we didn't want to bring home to New York. That way, we could do whatever we wanted to do, right? Without a nice guilty vacation. Purchase, or stretching the dollar and all that. I was like, you know what? Let's take some money up there. Let's set it aside, and we're going to go up and we're going to have fun. But eating here in town at a nice restaurant, and not even a nice restaurant, like Japanese, it's $350 easy after tip. Always tip what I'm supposed to tip.
Sure.
Or $3.75. So we went to Little Italy, Rotten. 6 of us. We got 2 appetizers, right? We got 2 bottles of wine. Each bottle of wine was $40. And you're talking about like the servers got, the
white
tablecloth. They're wearing the suit. Nice place. And one thing I like about New York is there's, for the most part, the places we went in, there was no dress code. So you wear a ball cap, beanies, all that's welcome. Times my kids always laugh at me because I'm like, can you wear a beanie in this? Here in town, they're like, what are you talking about, Dad? You can dress however you want anywhere. But I remember growing up when me and Freeman Mommy were in our 20s, and you go into a bar, some bars, if your shirt wasn't tucked in, they wouldn't let you in.
Sure.
But all that's gone, man. It's crazy. You can kind of be you now.
Did you feel like a mobster while you were there?
I did.
Did you?
And we were talking about The Sopranos. If somebody ever kisses you in the mouth, you're dead.
Yeah.
If they hand you something a certain way, that's death. If you kiss on the cheek, you're safe. We're talking about all the mafia stuff.
Was the flavor of the food worth the price of the plate?
Dude, it was the most amazing stuff I've ever had. I had fire roasted lasagna, and from where they took the blowtorch on it to melt the cheese was
wow. That's nice.
It was crazy. But we got 2 appetizers. Everybody, got waters. Kids got drinks. We had 2 bottles of wine, Rotten. $40 for each bottle of wine.
Okay.
6 entrees. Get what you want, kids. Get what we're in Little Italy.
Yeah.
We like Olive Garden, Macaroni Grill, but this is authentic. This is where the mafia would come to eat.
Right.
Mafia, when you watch The Sopranos, the food scenes are the best scenes because when they eat, they eat. It's like a powerful thing. They do business over food.
Yeah.
So we went in this place, 2 appetizers, 6 entrees, 2 bottles of wine, plus soft drinks. After tip, Rotten, $256.
Dang.
2 bottles of wine.
Yeah.
So where people's talking about New York is high. Maybe if you smoke cigarettes, that's high. But food-wise, dude, we come back with so much more money than we planned on coming back with. And we went the extra mile to do extra things.
Yeah.
And still come up short on spending too much money. So I don't understand where people, I'm sure that there's restaurants there where it's $2,000 a plate.
Sure.
But just going for the basic traveler. And like I said, and we went to the finest place in Little Italy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was $256, man. That's like
not bad.
free. That's like free.
That's not bad. Yeah,
6
for 6 people, that's not
2
bad.
bottles of wine on that. So $80 of that $256 was wine. We don't ever buy bottles of wine anywhere.
Yeah.
But I was like, if we're going to eat Italian, Ashton and McKinley ordered a bottle of Riesling, and me and Freeman ordered a bottle of Chianti, which I think Chianti and Italian food is just like
where it's at. Is that where?
So good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then after you ate food, did you end the day there because you're so stuffed, or did you keep looking around?
That night, we went back to Times Square because Times Square, New York is really the city that never sleeps. I don't know if you've ever been to Times Square or not.
No.
But you can go out there literally at 5:30 in the morning, and it is slam packed. It does not slow down. Like, we've been to Vegas a couple times. And when you go to Vegas, you're like, oh, man, Vegas is 24/7. But you can go out at 4 o'clock in the morning, and the streets are about dead, and the casinos are about empty. It's not really vibing. But New York City, whenever we woke up to go to the Today Show, 4 a.m., dude, I'm telling you, it is just, there's people out there. The vendors out there trying to sell tours, and all the street vendors selling the food are out there 24 hours a day. And people are on the streets. People out there, there's the last call in New York City is 4 a.m. Like here in North Carolina, it's 2 a.m. What's the last call for alcohol in Texas?
I think it's midnight or 1 o'clock.
Ours is 2 a.m. But a lot of the bars here close at 1, so they don't even make it there, so. But we love New York City, and I'll send you some pictures as soon as we get done here.
Yeah.
One of the Italian food, and then the
Just
celebrity meetups and
Times
stuff like
Square.
that.
I'd like to see all that stuff. Do you know
Right.
why? Do you know why they call it the Big Apple?
I don't.
Okay, I just looked it up because I don't know either. It says because of its history with horse racing and jazz music, and because it became a popular nickname in 1970s tourism campaign. So I guess apples were big back in the 1970s. It says
Dude,
that in the 20s, New York City became a major city of horse racing, and the large prizes awarded at the races were called Big Apples. Oh, so that's what it was. They were calling the big prizes the Big Apple.
got you.
Yeah,
But we done like
interesting.
the Empire State Building. We done Central Park. I went to where John Lennon. I went to the Dakota apartment complex where John Lennon lived, and
Yeah,
he was shot on the steps right there at the entrance. So I went up and asked Bellhop. I said, "Is this truly where?" And he's like, "I didn't get out of my mouth." He said, "John Lennon died right there." And it
jeez.
was kind of a moving thing. And then that's right beside Central Park. And then your entrance to Central Park right there, they got Strawberry Fields, which is
Yep.
a memorial for John Lennon. And we saw the Imagine emblem that everybody has their picture taken with. But dude, I was blown away. You know, I flipped off Trump Tower while I was there. We saw Trump's plane while we were there. But when you go to New York City,
You hate Trump. I
yeah.
love that. I love that.
But when you get to New York City, I always think of like when the Atlanta Braves are playing the New York Yankees, I'm like, wow, they're in the city. But
Yeah.
then you get to like we were in Midtown Manhattan, and then Lower Town or the tip of Manhattan on the south end is the financial where the World Trade Center and all that is. But like Yankee Stadium is like an hour and a half north in the Bronx.
Yeah.
And then MetLife MetLife or City Field for the Mets is like an hour away. So the stadiums are not there. Madison Square Garden is right there in Midtown Manhattan. We saw it. But like if you want to go to a Yankees game, you know, you got to get on a subway and go an hour north in the Bronx. So everything's, you know, not everything that you think of New York is right there in the city. But like where we stayed was walking distance to NBC Studios from Times Square. Radio City Music Hall was a couple streets over.
All the museums.
Ed Sullivan Theater, all the museums. We were on the corner of Broadway and then 47th or whatever the street is for Times Square. We went to a Broadway play. We went to see Moulin Rouge, which was phenomenal. Blown away by what a Broadway play
like it?
is. Yeah, oh,
You liked
dude,
it?
it was amazing. It was amazing. It was like
That's
3
cool.
hours. They had an intermission. The whole, just seeing Broadway. You know, I didn't know what to expect, but the theaters are so. You know, I was thinking like old pictures, like, you know, it's like you're in some old downtown and it'd be like a play here, play here, play here. But it
Right.
was like state of the art, man, lighting and pizzazz and city and
Could you live there, do you think?
dude, I think I could live there. I really enjoyed it. We went over to the Bronx, not
Yeah.
the Bronx, Brooklyn one day. We walked the Brooklyn Bridge over to Brooklyn, and Brooklyn's kind of like a small town feel, even though it's massive. It's kind of like where you see like Impractical Jokers. They'll be sitting at a park playing pranks on people, and you see the kids out there playing in the middle
Yeah.
of the street with the taxi cabs and all that. That's
Yeah.
kind of the Brooklyn vibe, to where you can walk out and sit on a bench and just be awesome for a couple hours, you know, and just chit chat with a stranger and,
Yeah.
and have those type of conversations. But I think I could live there, you know. Not, you know, this we become masters of the subway system whenever we were there. And the subways is it's like $2.70. And once you go through the gate, you can go anywhere that the subways go. So like if you have to take 10 trains to get somewhere, or if you have to go an hour away, it's always the same price, but whenever you exit, you got to pay to go back in. Well, you can buy a weekly unlimited pass for $30. So you can unlimitedly use the subway system, and the subways go everywhere, dude. Everywhere underground in the entire city is subways going somewhere, dude. There's hundreds of trains. It's like if you wanted to go a quarter of a mile down the road, you catch subway a quarter mile down the road. You know, there's subway entry stations everywhere. Like you'll see one on this side of the street, and then you'll see one on the other side of the street, and you're like, well, where's that one over there go? 5 of them, you know, they're everywhere. But if you don't buy the weekly pass, it's $2.70. But once you reach $30, once you reach the price of what an unlimited week pass would be, it will no longer charge your debit card. So
Oh,
you
wow.
can't
That's cool.
you can't spend more than $30 a week on the subway.
They cap
It's
it.
either you buy the unlimited pass or like you take 15 rides on it. But once you reach $30, when you scan your debit card, it will not take over more than $30 in a week's time, which I thought was pretty awesome because it seems like
Yeah.
they would try to suck the life out of you. But it's
I wish they
respectful.
would do that with toll roads here. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But I'm going to be talking a lot about over the next few shows of things we did, like Central Park. Dude, I could do a whole show on that. The Empire State Building, the fear that I had up there, and the thoughts going through my head of September 11th.
Yeah.
But we went to the 9/11 Memorial, man, and it was to see the size of those buildings. For one, is mind blowing because I've always wondered. A couple things always bothered me about September 11th. This always stuck with me. One is that people gave up hope at the top of that building and decided to jump from that high. And when you're up on the Empire State Building and realize how high that is, and they chose to jump
Versus burning alive.
goes to show that they gave up hope. Shows that you know the ultimate sacrifice whenever you choose to jump. That it was that bad up there has always bothered me. But one of the things that bothered me is like when the planes hit, you see all the debris come out of the other side of the building, and I'm like, hopefully people were not burning alive and then all of a sudden thrown out the other side of the building and then fall to their death. I mean, it's just something that I've always worried about. But those buildings were so big, dude. 100 times bigger than what I thought that they were going to be.
Right.
That it made me feel good that hopefully that it killed those people on impact. Because,
Sure.
because it's literally, I thought it was like buildings like in downtown Greensboro, but only higher. But it was like 15 times that thickness that I thought it was.
Right.
Because, they say that when the plane hit, like the landing gear of the airplane was found on buildings, where it spit it out the other side.
Right.
The explosion that come out the other side. But it's always bothered me, were those people were they being burned alive plus thrown off a skyscraper to their, it's, but I think after seeing the thickness of that building that it killed them instantly. It had to have.
It had to have. Did you like being there though? Did you like the memorial and how they had everything set up?
Yeah, it was good. We didn't go in the museum part. For one, people said that you have to plan a whole day for that because it will bother you the rest of the day because they got the fire trucks in there that were smashed and a lot of the things that we saw on TV they have in that museum. And it was like a 3-hour wait to get in. So we went to see, the memorial that they have set up outside where the buildings were. And then we saw how big the new World Trade Center is. And
Right.
when you look at the old World Trade Centers, the new one is so big, dude. I bet you could, it's so big that I bet you could put 3 planes side by side in it and it still wouldn't reach the width of how wide that building is.
Jeez.
So the kids are wanting to go up on the World Trade Center, which is 170 stories. It's like almost twice the size of what the World Trade Centers were.
Yeah.
But I was like, let's go up on the Empire State Building. Let's go up there at night because most 90% of the building's closed at night. And I was like, I don't want to do it during the day, during business hours, and I don't want to go to the World Trade Center. I'm scared to. I'm honestly scared. I'm not going to lie, kids.
Yeah.
So we done the Empire State Building at night. Once the building closed, it was like 8:30 when we went up. But when I got up there, dude, I was talking to the bellhop. I was like, how long have you worked here? I'm just curious. And one was 13 years and one was 20 years. And I was like, do you get nervous? And they're like, man, we love our job. They said, no, we never get nervous. And I'm like, man, I have the most respect for you because I was scared just being up there for 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
What could happen?
You have a phobia though of that, right?
Yeah. Of being trapped in a building. Yeah. September 11th has just always hung with me, man, which it has a lot of people, but it's you think about a lot when you're up on the 100th floor of the Empire State Building.
Mm-hmm. Can you
And then
feel the
every
sway?
little creek, and when you're up on those buildings, I asked the guy, I was like, how much do they sway? Because you go in the bathroom and see the water moving and stuff, like I talked about at the hotel in Vegas. And he's like, the Empire State Building on average sways 6 feet. 6
Jeez.
feet. So you can feel the building moving. So when the wind blows, and my son Ashton was not scared before we went up, but once we got up there, you could hear every little crick and movement and the concrete, and
Yeah.
he was fine being up there, but it was a little more uneasy than what he had planned on it feeling like on
Shoot, I
top
bet.
of the Empire State
I
Building.
mean, I know engineering they're made to sway like that, but 6 feet's a long way. That's as tall as I am either way.
And a plane has hit the Empire State Building. Did you know that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a big jumbo jet hit the side of it back in the
Long
black
time
and
ago.
white days. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it survived that. But when you're up there, man, it's a lot goes through your head.
Humbling.
We haven't flown as a family before, so I was a little nervous before our flight. But 20 minutes into the flight, I'm like, I remember this feeling and that feeling, and I was trying to explain to Chloe and Lyndon, which had never flown before. Ashton and McKinley had flown several times, but just the feelings to expect when flying. When
Right.
you hit a cloud, it's going to be like, you're going to feel the bumps in the road and stuff like that. But dude, we had an absolute amazing flight up there, amazing flight back. I was a little nervous before takeoff whenever we left Greensboro, just because I haven't flown since September 11th, dude. I mean, it's put that big of a fear into me.
Wow.
This is the first time we've ever flown as a family.
Yeah. It's good that you did.
But it was
It's
an
good you
amazing
did it.
flight up there, amazing flight back. It was supposed to have been an hour and 40-minute flight. I think that's with taxiing and all that. But from Greensboro, North Carolina to New York City, LaGuardia, I think it was like a 10-hour drive, and we were there in 1 hour and 15 minutes. And actually, I think we got there a little bit quicker, yeah. So
Yeah. Gotta love it.
we had drove to D.C. the week before that. It was a 5-hour trip, 5-hour and 15-minute trip. That's if you don't stop. But if you stop, 6-hour trip easy.
Sure.
I mean, we hadn't even got as high as we're supposed to get in a plane. We were 20 minutes into it, 15 minutes into the flight. And my son said, Dad, look, there's Washington, D.C. And Washington, D.C. was right outside the plane, dude. And so it's silly for us not to fly to Disney World the next time if we find a good deal on price, because, you're talking a 10-hour drive versus an hour and 15-minute flight.
Right.
600 miles an hour, 40,000 feet up is definitely the way to go. But my kids love flying. I love flying, dude. The flight back I really wish the flight back would have lasted 10 times longer. Everybody was that comfortable.
Yeah.
We were having a good time. It was not.
How many times have you been to Disneyland?
We've been to Disney. Last year, I think we went 8 times.
Okay. And you drive every time?
Yes. Well, in the past, but they have these deals on these smaller airlines, which is still big jets. Sometimes where it's like $50 each way. So if I could pay, because we rent a car, you got gas, and then the 10 hours there and 10 hours back, it would be worth spending $1,000 to not rent a car, to not do the gas, and to not have to take 20 hours to get there and back.
Yeah.
It would be worth $1,000 to fly down there.
Sure. Hell yeah.
But we had a good time, man.
And
I was sending you pictures to post, but I will be referring to this New York City trip for a while, dude. It was it was amazing. It was amazing.
Impactful.
Yeah, Central,
That's
like I said,
good.
Central Park, dude. I bet it's miles and miles. We walked 2 hours and wasn't even 1/5 of the way into it.
Wow.
2 hours of walking and hiking, dude. I mean, it is so massive. I thought maybe it was going to be like a county park like you have in town, to where you have 30 minutes to walk across it. The skinny part of Central Park, dude, is miles and miles and miles.
Yeah.
So
If you go to
it's
Google Earth and look at it, you have to zoom out quite a bit to see all of it.
dude, it is nuts. And then they would
Yeah.
have like big concerts going on. The place where people lay out in the sun that you always see in movies. The trails,
Hold on,
ice
I got.
skating rink.
Hold on one second. I got Jennifer talking to Thad. I think she's in the bedroom. Oh, I think she just left. Sorry.
That's all good, man. It's all good. But yeah, dude, that's what I've been up to, man. DJing. I got the furniture market coming up this week. Then a thing for this huge company in town called Good Green Plumbing. But
Hmm.
life has been good, man.
That
That's
is
that's what
good,
I've been doing this week. What have you been doing, Mister Ryan?
dude. I've been preparing for Halloween. Been
Yeah,
started this new job. The new job is going great. It's a lot of work, but it's worth the challenge. Thaddeus is doing really good. He's doing School of Rock. Jennifer's doing great with her job and really starting to feel better. She had an operation recently, and so life is going pretty good. So basically, as a family, like I just came back from camping, went camping out at our airsoft field in San Antonio last weekend, and it was great. I'll post some pictures, but I've got
yeah,
tons of stories to share about all of those things. Unfortunately, like with Riverside, we're 36 minutes in. I think I have like 4 minutes left until the recording
got you.
starts. But I think that we'll get together again and we'll record
Yeah,
again.
yeah. This week, man, we'll
Yeah,
get up.
for sure. But dude, I cannot wait to get those pictures back so I can post them. And I think that as Halloween gets closer, I'll put some more pictures up of our front yard, and I'd like to kind of hear stories of other people and what they do for Halloween. Look, this is my
Yeah,
wife's mask right here. I was showing you a little bit earlier. So this this thing right here, some people get really offended by this mask. They come to our house to go trick or treat, and their kids come up, but we don't have like blow up stuff in our front yard. It's like a haunted house at my house
yeah. That's
for Halloween,
awesome.
and it's great. But yeah, I'll share more stories about our Halloween at the Hauser house as it gets closer. We did one really cool thing that we did was we went to our friend's house last night, and we did the thing that you see on Instagram and Facebook where you paint each other and then reveal it.
Yeah, dude, that
Yeah,
was so funny.
yeah. So I'll post some pictures about that. But the main thing I think that's in topic here in Texas right now is the election coming up.
Yes.
And so I think I have 3 minutes before this cuts off. If it doesn't, that's great. But the election's coming up, and people are starting to get kind of antsy on what's going to happen. And there's lots of propaganda posters and billboards and conversation at work about what's going to happen. And is this the end of days? And I mean, it's like
Yeah.
batshit crazy out there right now.
Yes.
At least in Texas. I don't know what it's like in North Carolina, but
The
it's
same.
very, very divisive on what you can and can't do. And I've got neighbors that don't really want to talk to me. I don't have any stuff up in my front yard saying that. It's probably because they're scared of my decorations. But I've got others that don't believe with me politically,
Right.
that are super nice. They'll walk out and they'll talk to me and stuff like that. But others, you can really tell that our lifestyle and our voting habits have offended them. I
Yeah.
just don't understand it. I want to be able
Yeah.
to get along with everybody, but yeah, I've got a million stories, dude, I'll share them all in the weeks to come for
Yeah, dude,
sure.
because we went to see Kamala Harris a couple weeks ago, and I
Yeah,
lost friends over it, man. I guess people just
lost friends over it
unfriended me because we went to see Kamala Harris.
because you went.
Yeah, dude. North Carolina's crazy too, battleground state, but you got your. It's weird, man. We'll talk about
Yeah,
it before the
and that's
election for
that's
sure.
sad.
We'll put a big warning on their political views, but it's
Yeah,
yeah, something I
for
wanted to
sure.
get into because it's crazy in North Carolina, especially with the African American guy running for governor that's considers himself a Nazi, and Mark Robinson is look this guy up, man.
Well,
But
he's crazy, dude. I've seen
and
this
he's
guy.
still on the ballot. It was too
Yeah,
late to take him off
he's
the
crazy.
ballot.
What's even more crazy is so I'm not even political, I haven't voted in a long time because I just can't get behind people morally.
Right?
But this guy, what's crazier than him is that people believe in him, that other people
Yeah.
have voted him into office, and that's what's really kind of tripped me out.
It's crazy, man. We'll get into it definitely on a very warned and bannered warning show
For sure.
coming up before November 5th, and we'll do that, man.
My recording didn't stop. 40 minutes and 15 seconds. So it's still
but we can end it just in case, and that way it blacks out the end. But dude, I miss hanging out with you, Rotten. Life has been busy here the last couple of months, but hopefully, I think it's going to slow down where we can put out shows more often. We always say that, but we're busy people, man. You're a happening guy. I'm a happening guy. We got happening families,
absolutely,
and family values are everything. So we got dance and DJing and school and college and
concerts and Halloween and vacation and Halloween and oh man, it's good to be busy.
Yeah, life is good for you, Mr. Rotten, and life is very good for me here at Freeman Kingdom. But you can find me everywhere on socials at Freeman Daddy 5, or my Facebook is Shawn Freeman, SHAWN FREEMAN, or look up Facebook.com DJ Freeman Daddy. DJ Freeman Daddy on Facebook, and like Freeman my page Daddy. Over there. Yep. Freeman so, Rotten, where can people find you, man?
On Facebook, you can go to William Hauser. On X, it's going to be at Eddie Rotten, but please go to at Rotten Freeman on X, and we can see you there. I wanted to tell you something real quick about the Eddie Rotten name and the moniker, and a little bit about the story. This is an interesting thing. You're going to love this, and because this has re-inspired me. You know, life is kind of taken over, so it's taken me away from writing the third book, and I hate even talking about it because it's been so many years. Yeah. But I was talking to my brother Micah, and Micah. Of course, in the story, his name is Lord Micah, right?
Lord Micah.
Lord Micah. He's like Lord a frequency scientist, and so he's a great dude. But we were talking on the phone the other day, and he said, man, you're using ChatGPT all wrong. Do this to help inspire you in your writing efforts. And I said, okay. So I put all the attributes of the story in there. I put your name in, Shawn Freeman.
I'm the evil.
I put your evil name, Uza, in there, and what you do and your destruction and everything. And I put all the characters in there. Put Luna in there, Star in there, everybody's in there.
Enter. You enter
and then I entered it in there. It took about half an hour to put all this data in there, right? And then I said, make this a choose your own adventure story. And so what it did is it put everything out there as it took off from the second book, and then gives us options to choose which way we're going to go in the story. And you can push it to voice it to you. So now I'm driving to work in the morning at 5:30, and it will read it to me like an audiobook and then pause so I can make a choice on what's going to happen. So right now in the story, you are literally making, like, the reader is playing your role on what you would do as an evil zombie leader. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing. ChatGPT
kill everybody.
Is, wow. Yeah, it's amazing. You're good at it too.
Yeah, man. It's but is that all your socials? William Hauser?
Yeah, William Hauser, and then at Eddie Rotten on X.
That's it. And I think Rotten Freeman on Twitter is our Twitter thing, but we're going to get back in the groove and roll of everything and start putting out more current event shows. But dude, it's always fun hanging out with you. The last time we got up to record, me and you spent 2 hours together and never clicked record, dude. We just hung out and talked about life. And we should have hit record on those conversations, but
we should have.
I just enjoy our time together, Mr. Rod.
Some of them are button pushers, though. Like some of the things we get to talk about off the air would definitely push some buttons. So I'm glad that we're selective on what we.
Yep. But on behalf of Mr. William Hauser, Eddie Rotten, and myself, Freeman Daddy 5, we call this episode of Rotten and the Freeman Show. Right there.
Yes.
What is that, a pumpkin or a heart?
Yeah,
or...
that's supposed to be a heart, but
there you go. There's your screenshot.
My big old fat work fingers. Yeah. You guys
have at the show. Look, are you scared?
You look like a freaking raccoon. We'll be back. Happy Halloween. Woo!